welcome back to my channel. How are y'all doing today? Today we're doing a comedy night. So we're gonna be talking a little bit about myself. I'll be roasting a little bit. I'll be roasting myself, maybe roasting, you know, some people in my life, you know. But I'm gonna try to make this, you know, very comedic and funny, you know, just for us to have a good time. So make sure you grab your popcorn and your drink so you can watch my comedy show tonight. Yeah. Something about me having a microphone makes me feel, I feel like I really actually feel like a comedian with this microphone. I don't know, maybe it's just, you know, how it feels in my hand. It's kind of heavy. And so I think that kind of plays a little role in me feeling real comfortable on, you know, doing a comedy night, because this is not something I usually do. This is my first time doing something like that. This is my first time doing something like this, and never done anything like this at a real comedy place. You know, I hear comedians, you know, go on stage and they do their comedy but me, I have never done that before. So something about this microphone that really, you know, just looking at it makes me think like, you know, I could be a comedian today. I can be a comedian tonight. So yeah, so I just want to talk to y'all a little bit about myself. You know, growing up, I was always hardworking. Yeah, I worked since I was 4 years old. Yes, true story. Yeah, I'm Hispanic, you know, so the culture for Hispanic, you know, Hispanic cultures, you know, you're living, you know, you're living day by day, you know, trying to make a penny for yourself, you know, try to put food on the table. My dad, man, my props goes out to him. I mean, he's an amazing dad, you know. Growing up, he did everything for us. We're 5 kids, you know, and then my mom, wow, she's a trooper, you know, with 5 kids. And believe me, you know, with me, I was a handful. So with me, it was more like having 6 or 7, maybe 10 kids with me. I was a handful. I'm telling you, I was bad when I was little. So yeah, so I learned the value of the buck since I was like 4 years old. Hard work. I was helping my dad, you know, throw telephone books. If you remember those days, you know, when we had those Southwestern Bell telephone books, you know, going door to door and, you know, dropping them off. Yeah, that's what we did. So I helped him. You know, I was 4 years old, walking on little sandals in my little shorts, you know, carrying that heavy book, but I didn't care. I was like, I was telling my daddy, "Here, Daddy," and my daddy said, "Yes, right there." So I lay it down, you know, on the person's porch, and then I go back and I'll ask for another one. And my dad's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you're able to walk in those sandals?" When I was little, have you ever had a situation when you were little and you just put on anybody's sandals, you know, your mom's sandals, your big brother's or your big sister's sandals, and you just walked around in them, and you're like you're like just so clumsy in them, you know, falling over yourself. Well, that was me. I was wearing some big sandals that day. I don't know whose sandals I was wearing, but they were not mine. Yeah, no, that's how bad I was. I just grabbed whatever I saw was in front of me. I just grabbed them and put them on, and yeah, I paid no mind to that. I was like, no, you know, like, I don't know. I just felt like I can do anything when I was little. I felt like I can fly. I had dreams actually, you know, that I was flying. So I don't know what that says about me now. I mean, you know, I don't have those dreams anymore, but I had them when I was little. I even dreamt that I was able to walk on water when I was little. Yeah, I was a special one, I tell you. I was always smiling, laughing, and yeah. When I started work at a receptionist place, I was working for a nursing home. So, you know, you see people coming in, coming out. You know, you're seeing you're seeing family members dropping off their elderly ones. You know, I lived in an assisted living in a nursing home. It was a nursing facility and an assisted living. And a social worker that was there over the facility, over the nursing home, when she saw me, boy, was she I guess she was kind of I guess I threw her off or something, because she says, "You're always smiling." And she was telling another coworker of mine in the office, you know that I think she worked as a bookkeeper, and she goes, "That's not normal. That's not common to be having." You know, I'm just too happy. You know, I just had a smile on my face all the time. I was always smiling. Always had a smile on my face. Really, they were smiles of nerves. Yeah. I was hiding behind. I was nerves. Those were nerves, you know. So I was hiding behind a big smile all the time. Maybe that's what she was trying to say. That's not normal, you know. I've never seen that, you know. So, you know, and then working with people who are kind of like, you know, who have also mental disorders, you know, in that nursing home, you know, her seeing those types of patients, you know, she just kind of looked at me kind of like, she gave me this eye like, I could be one of those patients, right? Oh my goodness gracious, if she only knew. Yeah, I am a special one. I mean, yeah, when I was little, like I said, you know, I was a handful. Even when I was growing up, you know, all I did was just work. My first job, like I said, was at 4 years old, and then from there I went from there I was working at age 12. Started working for a company, you know, for kids. You know, it was for like teenagers. It was an after school activity job, you know, where they paid us, you know, $2.30 per item that we sold. You know, we were salesmen. You know, we went door to door. If y'all remember those times, you know, where y'all had kids going door to door and selling candies and teas and all that, where you can go, you can actually buy that stuff at the Dollar Tree. They didn't have a Dollar Tree back then, but so that you can buy at the dollar store. You know, they paid $5 for those. They paid $5 for the product. So yeah, and they always told us, make sure you tell them the teas are $5, but if they want, they can get 2 for $10. Like, that's still $5 each. How is that getting them to buy the teas? Because they had teas, you know, like made in wooden boxes, and I think the teas were $7 if I'm not mistaken. So they were $7, and they're saying 1 for $7 and 2 for $10. That's what our sales lead would tell us. You know, our crew who would take us door to door, and he tells them, you make sure you tell him, you know, 1 for $7 and 2 for $10. And I was like, all right. So we all did what we had to do. We had to go and hustle those products, you know, door to door, and we made money. Yeah, I made some money. There was times whenever I'd, you know, put my money in a jar, you know, and then my dad would walk into my room and see my jar, and his mouth will start watering once he starts seeing my money. He saw green in his eye. I was like, I tell you, growing up, I mean, you know, with 5 kids, and, you know, struggling from having to, you know, buy food, you know, day after day, and then not have any money by the end of the week, you know, that money started to look really watery to my dad. Started to look really watery, you know, it was mouth watering, you know. So he'd come and look, and he'd be like, "You got all that money, huh? You know, from your job?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh boy, don't get me started." I said, "Don't get me." I told him, I said, I go, and that's for me. I said, that's my money. I said, that's money that I'm gonna buy stuff with. I mean, when I was a child, I'm not gonna say I was an ungrateful child, you know, because I was grateful, but I was more of an independent child where I bought my own things, and you know, I let my other younger siblings, cause I'm the oldest from everybody. I'm the oldest, so I let all my younger siblings, you know, have my family take care of them, you know, and I take care of my own self, like as far as, you know, buy my own shoes, buy my own clothes. And so I was independent in that way, you know. I bought my own food. I didn't have anybody. I didn't need, you know, when I'd come home, I didn't need my mom to make food for me or make an extra plate for me, because I tell her, hey, I already ate, you know. So basically, you know, it was pretty good. I was living the good life for me back then. You know, working like that was a good life, you know. Not like these other kids. They go home, they study, man. They're like, let me hit these books. Let me hit these books, and let me hit my homework so that I can get back to work, so I can get back to school and turn in my work. No, not me. I was more like, I'll get to it when I can, you know. And right at the and I'm the type of person that I'm always doing like the last minute thing, you know. Where at the last minute I turn everything in. But hey, I turned everything in at the last minute. So yeah, I was one of those kids. And then, yeah, I got my first car when I was 16, and that's because Mom didn't want to pick me up from my job anymore. She kept complaining that she had to go pick me up. But so one day my dad said, "Okay, you're gonna save up your money, because you're gonna have to get yourself a down payment to get you a car." And I'm 16. Don't even have a driver's license yet. My dad's already getting me, trying to go get me a car at 16. I guess it would be worse if it was at 12. I guess if he could have done it at 12, he probably would have done it at 12. But you know, 16 years old, you know, getting my first car. I remember it was I think it was a 1986 Mercury Sable. That was my first car. 1986 Mercury Sable, yeah. So it was blue, and I felt freedom, freedom, freedom. That's how I felt. I felt like I had freedom with my car. I'm telling you, my dad, that was the worst thing they could have done. Get a 16-year-old in the car. Boy, I had so many memories in that car. A lot of wrecks as well. You know, so many wrecks. I mean, not in that car in particular, but I think as soon as I started upgrading, you know, because I was working. I worked 2 jobs, you know, growing up, you know, going to school, working 2 jobs. And yeah, so I was working as a newspaper. I used to work for the Chronicle. I used to sell the newspaper, you know, when I was 12, I was selling the candy. Then when I turned 13, 14, I was still selling the candy. And then I was saving up my money. And then by the time I was able to start working at a grocery store, you know, I was 16 years old. Mom was able to, like I said, my mom was okay with taking me to work and bringing me back, but like 16 before I turned 17, I think it lasted her not even like 6 months before she said, hey, she needs to get herself a car. You know, I can't be picking her up anymore. So no license. So my dad had to get it under his name. So my dad got the car under his name, and I drove it though, of course, no driver's license. And but I made the payments though, $200 a month. Can you believe that? Now these days, it was like a 2 or 3 year contract, so it was going to be paid off pretty quick. And now these days, man, you can't get no car for no $200 a month. Yeah, back then prices were different. You know, gas was 89 cents, 79 cents a gallon, 89 cents, 99 cents a gallon. You know, man, I miss those good old days. Yeah, I miss those good old days now. You know, where gas wasn't so expensive, so high. Now you're just trying to scrounge up all the pennies you can in your bag, you know, in your purse, trying to, you know, get money to you know, for gas. Yeah, because as soon as you get paid, I mean, you want to go buy the next best thing, you know. You want to go. You already have your shopping list by the time you get paid, right? you know, things that you want to go buy. So you're scrounging for money for gas now. But yeah, so I got my car at 16. You know, I don't believe I wrecked that car. I think I just upgraded, and then I upgraded to a Mustang. Yes. And this time I was 19. When I was 19, I actually got my license. At 19 years old, I got my license. I was driving for 4 years or 3 years. I was driving 3 years before I got my license. Yeah, I was a special one. Yeah, I was a special one growing up, I tell you. I always thought up of things in my head of ways to get out of things, loopholes, you know. Always trying to find a way out, you know, in situations that can get me in trouble. And I always try to find a way to gear it towards another direction where I wouldn't get in trouble. Yes, I was like that. That was bad. Yeah, I was, you know, I snuck out with my friend. Thought I was cool when I first got my car. You know, well, I wasn't the one who was driving. It was my other friend. You know, my friends, you know, talking about 9th grade now, you know, had friends, you know, they didn't do drugs. They didn't smoke. They didn't do drugs. They didn't drink or anything like that. They were just, you know, kind of bad influences. They would tell me, hey, sneak out. Sneak out. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know, I live in a mobile home. I live in a mobile home park. All my life, I lived in a mobile home park. That's another day for another comedy for another comedy night. I can't do that. I said I live in a mobile home. I said I don't have no window where my window I have to share with my 2 sisters. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers, so I have to share my room with my 2 sisters, my 2 brothers, and so well, not share the room with my 2 brothers, but the one room I had to share with my 2 sisters, and we only had one window. And boy, was it hard for me to sneak out. It was really hard, you know. You know, I thought it was cool because I was driving already, and I was independent. I had a job. I had 2 jobs actually. I would, you know, had money back then. Man, back then was a time, you know, to be living. You know, not like now. Now we're like struggling. You know, now we're just struggling to get a job. But yeah. So, you know, don't give your kids a car too young or too soon. You know, because you know, before you know it, they're gonna be sneaking out of your house. You know, without you finding out. The good thing about it is that I had some good sisters. I mean, back then. I mean, I have good sisters. The thing about it is that I had good sisters, and my sisters didn't snitch on me. They didn't rat me out. They didn't say, hey, she snuck out at night. I didn't do anything bad. We didn't do nothing recreational that we weren't supposed to do when we were young. We were just girls just wanting to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. Yeah, we're just girls having fun, going over to our other girlfriend's houses, and you know, we'd stay there for hours, and then we'd come back before, I think we'd come back before 5 o'clock in the morning or something. I'd be trying to get in through the window when my sister had locked it behind me when I snuck out. I think she knew that I snuck out. I'm over here trying to be all sneaky, trying to get out, you know, where my sisters wouldn't hear me, but no, one of them knew, you know, one of them knew, and then they locked the window. And I was like, darn it. You know, when I came back, it's like, how am I supposed to get inside? I don't even have the key to go. I don't even have the key for the front door. And if I did go to the front door, you know, my parents are going to hear me. So I had to knock on that window. My sister comes to my window. What? What do you want? Let me in. No, you go to the front door. Come to the front door. I was like, let me in. Let me in. My sister was giving me a hard time. I was like I'm gonna tell mom when she wakes up. I'm gonna tell her that you snuck out. I'm like, no, don't tell her that I snuck out. I didn't do nothing. I'm fine. Look, I'm fine. Just let me in. I don't want to get in trouble. Boy, I was like, that was the first and the last time I snuck out. I was like, never again will I do it again. Never again did I do that again. You know, because I was, you know, I was more afraid of my mom and my dad, you know, than getting in trouble, you know, than getting in trouble with the law or anything like that. You know, I was more scared of my parents than I was with the law. So, you know, they put the fear of God in me. They put their fear of God or their fear of, you know, that belt in me, you know. Yeah, when we were little, man, we, yeah, our parents, you know, they were like the kind of people that believed in, like, you know, getting a whooping, you know, giving you a whooping, you know, growing up, like spare the rod, spoil the child, so kind of thing. So growing up, yeah, we got whoopings, you know, well-deserved whoopings, because we were a handful. We were terrible. We were terrible kids. Well, I was terrible. I was a terrible kid. I was a handful. I was running around. Boy, can I tell you, I can tell you a whole bunch of stories when I was little. But we ain't got the time for that right now. That'll be for another. I'll put a little cap on that, and that'll be for another day. But I do want to say that it's hard now. You know, it's hard. No, but I do want to say one more thing. You know, hopefully this makes you laugh, because I don't know if this ever happened to y'all before, but so me, you know, working 2 jobs, you know, growing up, and then as I got older, you know, I was like, okay, it's time for me to, you know, just start. I mean, I'd still work 2 jobs, you know, even when I got older, I worked 2 jobs, but, you know, I was trying to get myself working in an office. You know, I went to high school. They had a co-op, and co-op, you know, what that is, it's like, you go half a day in school, you go half a day and you take classes for half a day, and then the rest of the day you take off to go to your job, and then you get paid working at that other job, and they pay you minimum wage. You know, you're like it's a program that, you know, a lot of, you know, well, I work for like a pipe, oil and gas company, so Duke Energy. Yeah, Duke Energy. They used to be called the Panhandle of Houston, or the Texas Panhandle, and then I think they're called the Panhandle of Houston after that. Their names changed. Now they're called Duke Energy. Yeah, so I used to work for them, and I was working in the marketing department, and I really liked that job, you know, in high school. But man, I missed so many days in school, that the day that they wanted us to, that we graduate, or they wanted me, the company, you know, wanted me to work for them, and my teacher, she sabotaged me. She said, "You want her? She barely comes into class, and you want her to work for you? Oh no, I am not going to allow this. I am not going to allow. She does not deserve to. She sabotaged my job. She sabotaged me from working at a good job." Can you believe it? Can you believe that, teacher? You know, I mean, well, I kind of deserve that, but still, I mean, you know, this company was offering me a job. I mean, come on, that's my future there. You know, don't mess with my future like that. But so yeah, I didn't get a job, all because of that teacher, Miss Benson. That's her name, Miss Benson. So she's a nice lady. It's just that I don't know. I guess she didn't feel like I deserved the job. I guess she felt like it was somebody else should have had the job than me. But anyways, you know, what I was trying to say is that do you ever, you know, go to an interview, and then you have another person in that same room, you know, and they're interviewing y'all, trying to find out. Well, back then they used to have where they'll do like double interviews, where you're having, you know, 2 people, you know, in the same room, and then you're trying to figure out, you know, they're trying to figure out who they want to keep. So you're like in competition with you're in competition with each other. You know, so here you have this person, you know, with a nice suit, you know, and then with a suitcase and a resume in their suitcase, ready to pop it up and give it to the to the manager, the one who's interviewing you. And you're like, you know, all you have is your file, and then you're like, you know, kind of competition with each other. And so when the interview starts, you know, they ask, you know, the other person, you know, what makes you, they ask you, so if we were to hire you, what would you offer the company? You know, and then they'll say, well, I can offer you, I can tell you that I have really good, they'll be like, I can tell you that I have really good credentials. You know, I worked for a company like this before, or I did some volunteer work. You know, they'll come up with some stuff like that, and I'm like, boy, what am I supposed to say now? Like, darn it, this guy's really beating me here. You know, he's gonna beat me in this race. You know, he's really gonna get this job. And so I started feeling like that lady from Bridesmaids, you know, where she was in competition with her best friend, and she was trying to you know, trying to up the other one. And I'd be like, well, I used to work for Duke Energy. Yeah, they're a well-known company, if you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, they're a marketing company. I used to work for them. You know, I went to high school. I have my diploma. Yeah, I'm not sure if he does, but I'm not sure if this person does, but I have my diploma. I can show you. I graduated high school. I graduated, and I worked for the marketing department. You know, I just wasn't able to get the job for, you know, for personal reasons, you know. But yeah, I work for them, so I can offer you my experience, you know, working for them. To their guys, like, well, I used to work for the bank, and I worked I worked real close with the manager, and you know, I was entrusted with, you know, and then the other guy's like, well, I can tell you that I also have, you know, business experience. I used to work for this company here, and I used to do this for them, and I used to do that for them. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is doing me. So then I was like, and they're like, I'm like, well, I am fluent. I'm fluent in Spanish and English. I know how to speak. I'm bilingual. You know, I'm bilingual. You know, I'm Stephanie. You know, and I'm bilingual. I know how to speak Spanish and English fluently. I know how to write and speak in Spanish. So I'm very fluent at that. You know, we're trying to sell it over here, you know, and this guy's always saying, oh, well, I have really good communication skills, and I can tell you that I'd be a good asset to your company. And I'd be like, my goodness, this guy's one-upping me up. Is one-upping. What do you say? How do you say it? This guy is trying to one-up me here. He's trying to see. I'd be like, I used to work for the grocery store as a cashier. I handled a whole bunch of money. And I also worked for the courtesy booth. So I have a lot of job experience. So I think that really got me the job. That's what got me the job. Because I had so much work history, and this guy didn't have any kind of work history. But I don't know if you ever in an interview like that where you're both asked questions, you know, about, you know, why you want to be in why you want to work for the company. But that's all that I have for you guys tonight. You know, hopefully this was funny. Hopefully that was, you know, comedic for y'all to, you know, give you my experience, you know, growing up, and my experience, you know, trying to get a job, you know, and trying to fight for positions, you know, growing up to get a job. Yeah, I was just thinking about the movie Bridesmaids, and that's what inspired me to try to do this comedy night. So I hope you liked it, and I'm nervous right now. Whew, you know, I'm nervous. Not right now, but I was nervous coming on here. But now that it's over, it's over. I'm good again. I'm fine. But yeah. So just, you know, if you haven't subscribed, or if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Also give my video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. So leave me your comments. What do y'all think? Was I funny? I don't know. I'll try to be. I'm trying. You know, but that's one thing that I thought this would be fun to do. you know, have a comedy night. All right, well, you have a good night. I'll see you in my next video. Mic drop. Bye.